Welcome back to Average Mice, guys, where today we install under the cabinet lighting, LED lights. Alright guys, back on Average Mike's here. Today we are installing these under the cabinet lights. We went with the LED style tape lights that have that's a 12 volt. Basically it allows you to plug in here, or you can cut it off and direct wire it. But we have our two kits. We have some heat shrink tubing. I'll show you what that's for later. The kits come with these connectors that you can use to extend the tape. We have some cheap Junction boxes. I got them off Amazon. I was really looking for something that's super thin so that it would fit underneath of the cabinets. And then we have, like I said, two kits, and we bought an extra, a little bit less of a wattage because it has a little bit less of a run driver for the LEDs. So I pre-spliced some of this wiring here, and just so that we can get going on this pretty quick. These little caps or junction boxes, we're going to use them for basically get mounted, and then this just snaps over it. We might have to adjust the hole size a little bit to fit everything we need in there, but this should fit under the cabinet pretty well. I did notice that in the kits, for whatever reason, this does not. Now, we are getting the light rail molding, so that ain't too bad. That's actually going to sit in the back as well, so you won't see it as much, but still a little annoying. They offer it as a, you would think they would make this be a little smaller so it fits. Actually, this one by the same brand, Armacost, everything here is Armacost. This fits under there and you don't see it, so I'm not sure why one does and one doesn't, but regardless, it's just a little bit. We're gonna go with it and see what happens. So let's talk a little bit. There's a couple different things I want to go over real quick. Why I chose these lights. They do have the traditional, you can obviously wire halogen lights underneath here. They have fluorescent light bars that can get pretty expensive, especially if you do one every cabinet. It would be really, really expensive. That's kind of the old way of doing things. This is the newer way, which some kits have just the ribbon tape, which is here, has the lights on it, and then it gives you a way to plug it into the wall, which this is as well. But this allows me to remove or cut the wire to direct it to 120 volts. You just have to make sure you get the right wattage. This converts this from a 120 volt to a 12 volt or last certain amount of wattage. Everything's wattage depending on how many lights you have. That's why I went with the kit, just to make sure that that should work with the driver that we have. So what we're going to work on is actually notching these between the cabinets here, so that this ribbon tape has the ability to go all the way across, and then we should be able to be good to go. So I'll show you that, and then we'll work on installing the lights. So as you can see, this is marked line neutral. So you want to make sure that obviously the neutral is on the white wire. line is on the black wire. Alright, so something the instructions kind of told you. You have the solder joints here and the copper spaces here. They said you can cut on either one, but it's more preferred to cut on the copper line, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do, just to cut it to length for these cabinets. Alright, that seems pretty secure up there. Let's take a look underneath here. I don't know what you can see. Let's see. Oh yeah. So, for the most part, we're pretty well in there. So now we did wire it in over there, but we have to do this side first so that the wiring can go from that switch over to here. So let's take care of this side now, and then we'll see what it looks like. Alright guys, we have this wired up. I did, as you saw, cut the length. Where's it at? This piece here to go along here. This switch controls everything. Let's give it a little click. And there you go, you got that, and wham! Look at that. That looks great. It'll look even better at night, I'm sure. Yeah, we'll give you a hint at what it looks at night later. So one thing I do have to do here, in order to, I didn't want to buy a whole nother driver for over here. There's no need. They have the ability to take the end and put on a connector. They give you, again, I think I showed you, sorry for the mess. They give you these connectors here, and basically you clip on the end. You can cut this wire and extend it. We have 18 gauge wire here that we can then, because remember, this is only 12 volt now. The driver only supplies the amount of wattage and voltage that it can. It does all that for you. So you can use this thinner wire. It actually says use the thinner wire. And then we connect another end over here, and we can connect to the rest of this wiring here. So there's the cut end, and here is, oh, actually they're both cut. So yeah, so we should be able to do that. Let's take a look and give it a whirl. So I'm looking here, and it looks like you will want to pull the backing off of here just for that little bit, because obviously that you need to be able to see those connectors. As you can see, it slides in there. Actually, you might not have needed to, but either way, better that way. And then you're going to slide this in and then shut that door closed. So you have to push down pretty hard. It does say to use maybe a screwdriver, but if you just get your finger in there, you think your finger in there, and you think you can do it. I was able to just push the center, and it's pretty solid connection there. So let's cut this off, and we'll splice it into this guy here, and we will go from there. All right, and what I'm going to do is this has a dotted line there, and we'll just mate that to the solid line, white line on this one. That way we don't cross anything. So, all right. Now, if you wanted to solder this, you certainly could. Actually, if you can, it'd be better. My soldering gun is not working at the moment. So, what we're gonna do, ideally, like I said, you solder this and then heat shrink tubing over it. You're good to go. But this is something where it's gonna probably end up somewhere under here behind the microwave. It's not gonna vibrate too much to where you would need to solder the gun or solder the wire. All you really have to do is just give it. Sometimes I like to, I twisted this, but sometimes I like to kind of split this, even when soldering. Split this wire into two and twist it up like that so it looks like a Y. And I want the dotted one, so split this wire into two as well. And what we do is take those two wires, kind of mate them together, twisting the two together, just really to give it a nice, since we're not soldering, give it a nice, that way if you try to pull it, it's not coming apart. And then this heat shrink tubing, can slide this tubing. I want the tubing to be not too big, but not too small to where you're fighting it. This slides over. And you are good. Then we just put some heat on it and then we'll be okay. Got the stove here. Why don't we use that? There you go. You got some nice joints that aren't coming apart. Again, got the lights there, lights over there. Now we have to fish this wire up and around the microwave. What I'm going to do is try to drop it down from the top here just enough to get the microwave to drop down, and I can slide it up in there. So let's do that. Alright guys, so over here I went ahead and wired this. This is the easy one where it's going directly into the driver. You just hit the line in the neutral, comes out here. I went ahead and cut one of the ends off, went directly into there, positive and negative, and I connected it to our strip, and our strip is cut the length. So I'm gonna go ahead. I did order some double-sided tape to mount these up to here. I think that'll do better than the screws. I don't really have screws for this. It also work on the little junction boxes on the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount this to the bottom here. The double-sided tape will be here tomorrow, so I'm just gonna set that here for now, and we'll see what it looks like. For some reason this is not working. I don't know if it has to do with these clips. I did use one of the clips over on that one, and that worked fine. But I don't know if it's, you know, maybe I'm doing something wrong. That's always possible. But I have a clip here to the wire, to the other speaker wire, and then a clip here to go to this one. But this one's not working. If I use my volt meter, it is getting power all along here. I'm wondering if the amperage, or I'm sorry, the wattage, this is a 34 watt, I'm sorry, wrong one. This is a 34 watt driver. I'm wondering if we're losing the watts over the wire, the thicker gauge. They said I could run 18 gauge, I think it was 18 to 22 gauge wire to extend it, and it is possible to extend these things. It says it right in the instructions, but for some reason it's not working. So what I'm going to do is, I already started here. I got a new length of wire, a new strip of LEDs. I connected this permanently, but I temporarily wired it to the speaker wire. Instead of going to this connection here, I am going to go directly to the driver and see if that works. If that works, then I'm going to take this off and run this wire by itself over to that side, and then this light, that light will get spliced together and inserted into the driver. So hopefully that'll take care of that, and we can wrap this project up. All right, so as you can see, that works. So what we're gonna do is, instead of messing around with this, we'll just disconnect this connector, rip all that out, run this new wire around, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, we are finished up here. We even got everything buttoned up. That one's, there's not too much to show there. But under here, you got, I still have to staple that one wire, but under here, again, taped up this box just to make sure it stayed. Everything's double-sided tape. And same with this guy over here. Yeah. So I did install a smart switch. If you guys didn't check out the video for the smart switches, I did a whole video on how to install those smart switches, so I'll put that link above. I want to schedule it so 5 o'clock they come on, they stay on all night, kind of light up the kitchen a little bit if somebody has to come downstairs, and then in the morning they'll shut off because it's not really needed. So, but there's the lights, they look great, and this project is complete. So guys, if you like the content, please give it a like. Maybe if you like the content I'm giving you, you can also go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. I love doing this kind of stuff, doing home repairs, car repairs, projects. So any subscribe, like, comment, please go right ahead. And I guess I'll get to you guys on the next one. Later.